Davis Arini. Mersh forgot the Lancer. There is no better car than the Mazda Miata. Can hook you up with a great deal on a used one.
Ooh,
Miata?
can you get me the MX-5 package? What?
The gayest car in America.
Dude,
All right, folks, how we all doing? How are we all doing? Right. So, let's make sure everything's going on right here. Take text away. We got a dog right next to me who's chewing a cow rib, so hopefully he'll be amused and not annoying me. Oh, I reached out and petted him, so he then got up and moved a foot further away from me. He does not like when you mess with him when he has a bone. All right. Few people in the chat. And how we all doing? So tonight, we're not going to be looking at a certain Canadian. That's not the plan tonight. I don't even know what he's been up to this week, other than super chatting the Revenge of the Sith guys a lot. I don't know what he's been up to this week. That's not what we're going to look at. We're gonna look at a good buddy of everyone, of the internet, Owen Benjamin. Specifically, Owen Benjamin. He decided he wanted to do an analysis of the original Ghostbusters, which, as we all know, is the greatest film of all time. Yeah, MX-5 is a hell of a car. That is true. Somebody says, like Space Dog, but much less cringe. Yes, I didn't give the dog a nonsensical nickname. No, his name is Danny, and he is fat and retarded. Yes, you are. Yes, I know. Go sit further away, because I petted you when you're chewing your bone. It's funny, he wants to sit right next to you with the bone, but he doesn't even want you to pet him. Like, no, just leave me alone. It's a bone. Don't take my bone. Alright, so let's go ahead and Windows capture. Guys, Ghostbusters isn't even real. This is true. It's not, but it should be. And by the way, for those of you that were wondering, the music we were listening to before the start of the show was the soundtrack to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which, for my money, is the greatest video game soundtrack of all time. Maybe Mario Galaxy. I mean, objectively, I'll say Mario Galaxy is probably better. But for my personal taste, my personal nostalgia, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, greatest soundtrack of all time. Greatest video game music ever made. So yes, Owen Benjamin is going to break down the 1984 Ghostbusters. Now, as many of you know, I'm a bit of a Ghostbusters nerd. Ghostbusters is probably my favorite movie of all time. I really, really love the second one. I know a lot of people crap on it. I think it's really only guilty of not being as good as the first one. The cartoon was great. What's his name? J. Michael Starstansky, or whatever the hell, however you pronounce his last name. He did a lot of the writing for it. He created Babylon 5. Had a really great run on Amazing Spider-Man 2, by the way. Yeah, the real Ghostbusters, fantastic cartoon. The later seasons, kind of rough because the network put a lot of notes in, kind of fucked things up a little bit. All in all, though, great cartoon. The Extreme Ghostbusters back in the 90s. I didn't even know about this when it was... I think it was like... Oh, man, it was like 20... It was like in the 2010s I even discovered this thing ever existed. But I went back and watched a lot of them. Pretty damn good. It's got that animation style that a lot of cartoons at the time had it, like late 90s. The Godzilla cartoon had it. The Men in Black cartoon had it. I want to say it's probably that same studio. And the IDW comic book, absolutely fantastic. I've read all of it. I think there's a handful of one-shots I haven't read, but by and large, all of it, fantastic stuff. Can't recommend it enough. So yeah, huge Ghostbusters fan here. I had a bad dream once that they remade that movie with 3 lesbians and a gorilla, but thankfully that never happened. That was just a bad dream I had. But we're going to listen to Owen Benjamin, who of course is super smart. He's going to analyze this wonderful film for us, and I think it's going to be a great time. I think we're all going to have a great time with this. I'm a little loud, it looks like. I'm getting into the red. I hope that isn't... I hope it's not, like, annoying and distorted. Let's bring that down a bit. Test. Yeah, that looks a lot better. All right, good. That's some Davis Arini quality audio right there. Hopefully we didn't sound like a Burger King drive-thru. All right, so... Owen, why don't you tell us what Ghostbusters is all about?
I'm Not Owen Benjamin. Version 3 on YouTube is back in action. Thank you, Papa J. Bear.
Yes, by the way, this is I'm Not Owen Benjamin V5. We're watching this on, because Owen doesn't stream on YouTube anymore. He's on Vox's broken site that I don't ever go to because I have self-respect. So we're going to watch this on a clip channel.
All right, Welcome. Today's episode is episode 812, Ghostbusters 1, 1984, the story of the CDC. I rewatched Ghostbusters last night to get some...
What? It's the story of the CDC. Okay. I guess he's going to elaborate on that, but right away I'm thinking, if you think this is the story of a government agency... I don't know what movie you watched there, Owen, because Ghostbusters is steeped in 80s, Reagan era, fuck the government, fuck regulation mythos. Every single antagonist in Ghostbusters that is a human being, a living human being, is a government bureaucrat or elected official. Ghostbusters is the story of, among other things, a small business dealing with government overregulation. But no, it's about the CDC. So let's hear the big brain take.
Gravy for you guys, and man, don't romanticize the 80s. Everybody was like super perverted. Like there's a few elements of the movie. Rick Moranis was really funny. But there's a few elements of the movie that there's a few layers going on simultaneously. I think it inadvertently is telling the story of what the CDC is, and the whole movie is about. I don't know how else to put it. The whole thing's about cum. Okay.
Owen is a closet homosexual. Can we just all agree with that right now? Is there anybody in the chat that's going to dispute me on this? Owen is a closet homosexual, or bisexual at least. Owen is, to put it generously, struggling with homosexual desire that I guess conflicts with his religion, and I think any Christian can understand, struggling with sin. But see, he can't ever admit. Because he's a narcissist, he can't admit that about himself. So it has to be, this man watched Ghostbusters and I guess ran out of the room saying, "You can't catch me, gay thoughts." No, Ghostbusters is not about cum. No, Owen. I haven't given this a thumbs down. Let me give this a thumbs down too while I'm here. No, it's not, Owen.
There, I said it. Zool. Morning all. Can't wait for the gravy. All right, yeah, it's not as profound as the Batman stuff or like The Wall. So don't get your hopes too up, but it's
By the way, why does every cringe right-winger think Batman is the most fucking profound thing in the world? I get accused of being too much of a comic book geek and all that stuff, and I am, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to lay this down for y'all fucking comic book geeks right now, all right? Batman's not that fucking interesting as far as other superheroes go. He's pretty cool. He's pretty interesting. He's got a very, very interesting rogues gallery. He's got one of the best out of Marvel and DC. He's not that interesting of a character when you get right down to it. But every fucking right-winger is obsessed. Every cringe right-winger is obsessed with Batman. Way more than I ever was about Avengers or Spider-Man or any superhero I love more. No, none of the Batman movies are extremely deep. Even the Nolan ones. Perhaps especially the Nolan ones. You could maybe argue Joker's pretty deep. I think it's a little overrated. It's got that, like, Fight Club or Matrix or, you know, Big Lebowski thing going on. Where, yeah, it's a pretty clever film, but people are putting a lot too much into it. That said, though, Joker is about as far removed from the Batman mythos. It's basically as far removed from any sort of Batman source material as Halle Berry's Catwoman was. It's just, you know, Joker is, on its own merit, a decent film, and Halle Berry's Catwoman wasn't. But no, the Nolan movie, everyone goes on about how deep the Nolan movies are, and there's some flashes of real brilliance in it, and obviously Heath Ledger's performance, for example, is just amazing. Tom Hardy's performance is also amazing, although kind of not in the way intended. But no, the Batman movies aren't that fucking deep. And the Nolan movies aren't that fucking deep. There may be a cunt hair deeper than your average fucking Marvel movie. I'm sorry to tell you. And you're talking to somebody who loves superhero shit. I love it. But no, I don't know why every cringe right-winger thinks Batman is so fucking awesome. Not really sure why.
Rick Moranis is poised for a comeback. He's very funny in the movie. Rick Moranis carries that film for me. Yeah, every time he got locked out of his apartment, me and Amy laughed out loud. All right, so let's go through. Let's just watch.
I would like some proof of life on Amy, too, by the way. I'm slightly worried on her. Amy laughed out loud in the way that Norman Bates' mother talked in Psycho. Is that what was going on there?
The preview from 1984, and then we'll go from there. There we go. This is Ghostbusters.
Ghosts.
Hello, Ghostbusters.
They're real.
You do? You have?
They're here.
By the way, when people have to say something's real, it's because it's not real. And you don't think that okay?
So God's not real? Is that true? And souls aren't real? Because those are disproven things that many people believe in. That I hate this man so much. Owen is so contemptible. And also, Owen, it's a fucking movie. No one is expecting you to think it's real. Like this was a documentary. You fucking retard.
Apply everything you're watching to viruses. Viruses. They're real.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Owen doesn't believe viruses are real, everybody. Owen Benjamin does not believe viruses are real. He doesn't believe gravity is real. He doesn't believe the moon is real. The earth is flat. It's like you took like the literal Ken Ham style creationism and just cranked that shit up to 11.
You need us to get rid of your virus for you because that's really what's causing your psychic trauma. Just, it's funny, whatever.
Viruses aren't real. You get sick from psychic trauma. But he's going to talk shit on somebody thinking ghosts are real. I'm honestly amazed he doesn't believe in ghosts, by the way.
Just keep going.
Ghostbusters.
Hey, anybody see a ghost?
They catch the ghost that won't stay dead.
By the way, Bill Murray's character is a sex addict, an extremely aggressive sex addict. Just to before I forget.
Oh, and you're a very creepy bisexual, so we all have our flaws.
And I'm just going to interject a few times. Dan Aykroyd's character goes into debt to start the business, and then Bill Murray's character tries to have sex with their first client so aggressively in her home that they easily could have lost everything. I just want to let you guys know that that's not a good dude.
Let's break down the character of Peter Venkman for a minute here, because you are correct in that Peter Venkman is a deeply flawed character. He is egotistical. He's greedy. He's a bit of a shyster, bit of a grifter, which I would think you would respect, Owen. You work for a man that's like that. You are a man like that. But yeah, Peter Venkman is not meant to be a role model, not in any stretch of the imagination. He's a grifter. He's a womanizer. But I wouldn't say he is by any stretch an irredeemable character. There's a very interesting sort of resigned heroism to that man. You see this numerous times in the confrontation with Zool, for example, when Egon is saying that we got to cross the streams, and Peter's sort of like, I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. And he marches right into almost certain death in the second one, when they're all paralyzed in agony from whatever sort of magic that Vigo did to him. He's the one that limps him, that sort of nudges himself over and verbally fucks with the guy for nothing more than to try and buy some time in an otherwise hopeless situation. There's a genuine heroism to Peter Venkman. And yes, that is mixed in with a character who's greedy, who's thoughtless, who's selfish, who's a womanizer. He's all those things. But to just write him off as scummy, and again, this is the sort of very shallow, childish fucking take you'd expect from Owen.
Oh, how dare you! Wait till I break this down, guys. Save the how dare yous. Oh, look, it's the CDC attacking the working class for no reason, just out of fear.
They're dangerous.
Try to imagine all life.
Again, Owen, how are they the CDC?
As you know it, stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light. Right.
By the way, when I analyze why the EPA wants to shut them down, when the bad guy wants to shut down the Ghostbusters, just remember what the Grabber just said. So if they just cross streams, which is obviously a homosexual reference, all life.
Oh, you are a closet gay, aren't you, Owen? And you know what? I will say that the EPA had very, very legitimate concerns when it comes to the Ghostbusters. However, again, if you watch that movie and you're not a fucking child and you're not insane, you can very easily tell that with Peck, I believe was his name, he was a bureaucrat swinging his dick around. And the reason he wanted to shut the Ghostbusters down is because Peter Venkman insulted him. That's why he came to shut the Ghostbusters down.
Defense. And yet they paint the guy trying to stop these people as the bad guy. Just re-listen to what the stakes are here.
Try Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body.
By the way, obviously not real what the grab we're saying here, but it's just, listen.
Exploding at the speed of light.
You know, I really hate to use this fucking term because of how much it's been just over fucking blown. But after a while, the fucking racism gets old with you, Owen. You know, when he says grabbler, he means Jew. That's his term for Jew. I don't know where he got it. I don't care. It's not particularly funny. But it's just... Like, look, I don't exactly have the highest opinion of the chosen people, as it were. But just the blanketness of it all. That's all he can see. It's all he can think about is the moon and Jews.
All right, that's bad. Okay. All right, important safety tip. Thanks, Egon.
They're professionals.
Oh, I'm the chairman of the largest paranormal removal company in America.
You see it? They're all that stands between you and the end of the world.
The city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion. Real wrath of God type stuff. Exactly.
Okay, so just picture the CDC pitching all this. Everything's going to end.
Oh, shit. I accidentally hit the wrong button there. Where were we? Fuck it, we'll go right here. Hang on. Trying to figure out where we were. Fuck it, that's close enough.
That aren't real.
Okay, so he's saying they're like the CDC because they're saying that, oh, this is going to be really bad if you don't let us do stuff. And that's, I guess that's his take. The CDC is made up viruses so they could, I don't know.
Hey, so you don't think ghosts are real? No, not as described in this movie, obviously not.
Really, Ghostbusters isn't 100% accurate.
Down from the sky. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Your girlfriend lives in the corner penthouse of Spook Central.
By the way, a little of this is true. Some of these buildings, especially the Empire State Building and the Eiffel Tower, are built as energy collectors. Oh, how dare you? The giant needle, all that. It's fascinating that there are elements of this with truth drops.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that part's real. Viruses, though, being real is bullshit. But the Eiffel Tower being an antenna to summon Zool, that is 100% accurate.
On this body.
Is this a trick question? Got your stick? Oh! Get him up! Smoke him! Make him hard! Ready!
A lot of symbolism.
Ghostbusters. Starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Harold Ramis, Rick Moranis. Coming to save the world.
Man, poor Winston, wasn't even really in that trailer almost at all. Damn.
Ghostbusters.
Okay, the whole scam is just like the CDC. So let's start off. So you know that these characters are really bad people. Oh, okay, just before we continue.
Okay. I don't agree with it, but I'll grant you Venkman's a dirtbag. I don't agree with it, but fine. For the sake of argument, what the fuck did Ray do? What the fuck did Egon do? Winston, what the fuck did he do to you?
I'm the resident comedian. I have had Comedy Central specials, to star of a sitcom on TBS. I've been in...
You were not the star of a sitcom. You had a supporting role in a sitcom that lasted less than a season, from what I understand. I want to say Solomon and Sons was less than a season. Yeah. But a sitcom no one remembers you had a minor role in. You're not a comedian, Owen. Comedians say things that are funny once in a while. You're a failed comedian. You're a failed actor who then latched onto this nonsense and went insane.
Adam Sandler movies. I've self-produced 4 of my own specials. I understand comedy. I am the resident expert of comedy. So when I...
Yes, okay. Real quick, we'll take a look at a chat here. Let's see. The show's called Ghostbusters, so obviously it's about busting a nut. The point of Ghostbusters all along to convince us the ghosts are actually real. Ray did have that BJ encounter with the ghost lady. In all fairness, that might have been a dream. They were a little ambiguous on that. Is this all he does now? Every stream is about Irini Benjamin or someone else he doesn't like. Last night's stream wasn't about that. Or the other night, Friday night I think it was. Wasn't about that at all. And yeah, I'm sorry. What do you want to talk about? I'm sorry. What do you want to talk about there? Mars Alter. Don't want to make fun of people. That's too mean. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Next stream, we'll all sit around and sing Kumbaya and lick Barney the dinosaur's fucking pussy. Owen Benjamin is going to be a Christian Scientist when it comes to illness and pathology. Egon is a Jew. Yes, I know. There's some sort of cat out of bag there. Owen's career is the joke. Yes, that is. Owen is to comedy what Crowder is to the right wing. And introducing Ernie Hudson as Winston. Did he have any other real roles? I mean, I know he had to have had some role before this. I don't believe that was his first acting role. Beckloff, how am I meant to make fun of a guy when he makes the jokes for me? All right, caught up on the chat here. Let's get back to it.
I say this, and your first reaction is, "Can't you take a joke?" No, horrible people disguised behind comedy is not comedy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh my God! It sounds like one of those evangelicals that want all comedy to be fucking safe and all this other shit. Like, no, like shitheads are usually the funniest people. Dirtbags are usually the funniest people. Owen has managed to take, like, the worst aspects of, like, cringy evangelical culture. Even, like, the creationism ramped up to 11 with viruses aren't real and the earth is flat. But he doesn't, at least the evangelicals are fucking polite.
It's MK Ultra shit. Okay, so the movie starts with Bill Murray's character doing experiments on these two people. The movie starts with Bill Murray's character faking an experiment to try and get into some co-ed's pants. Woman on the right that he is desperately trying to have sex with in his office. This is all part of the movie. And then the grab one on the left. And so no matter what the guy says, he gets electrocuted. And no matter what the girl says, she doesn't because he wants to penetrate her with his penis. Even when, and you realize that... the way this man describes sex is the most unappealing thing in the fucking universe. He's not just... Even when the boy says the right one, because he has cards that they can't see, and he's seeing if they can telepathically see what's behind the cards. They both get them all wrong, but he only electrocutes him because he's trying to boost her so that he can fuck her. Fact. This is the plot of the movie. Yes, Owen. So the boy gets it right. And he's still electrocuted. By the way, your boss there, Vox. One of the big communities over the years that he desperately tried to latch himself onto, unsuccessfully, I might add. Vox is one of those guys that tried desperately to get involved in all sorts of communities and movements, but pardon me, never got very far because Vox is the kind of person most people just instinctively hate. Because he is just very, very contemptible. And he's written some good stuff. He's had some good ideas over the years. I'm not going to dispute that, but he is just very, very contemptible and hateable on a personal level. So he's been chased out of most movements he's tried to latch onto, or those movements just ignored him.
One of those movements that he tried to latch onto for a very, very long time was the pickup artist slash game slash manosphere slash whatever. That's the whole reason he has that alpha, beta, bravo, gamma, sigma bullshit, is because he was trying to make his name for himself in the game community. And you know what? The game community are a bunch of sleazy fucking wannabe womanizers. Most of them wannabe. The game community wants to be Bill Murray here, tricking some girl into taking her pants off for him.
We'll execute him. What this scene is showing is you are now consenting that he's a horrible person. Oh, how dare you? How dare you? So that's not. Listen, you can laugh at it. It's kind of funny to watch such a horrible person, but it's like this is what studies.
He just contradicted himself. Watching a horrible person isn't comedy. I know. I'm an expert on comedy because I had a bit part in a failed TBS show. But then, not even like 2 minutes later. Well, I mean, you can laugh at it. Watching a horrible person is funny.
These really do. This is why studies, more than half of studies cannot be replicated. That's mainstream. So he's trying to have sex with the girl, and he's trying to electrocute the boy. And this is a lot more common than you think. And so then there's another scene where you can tell that they're not scientists. They're pirates. And no, I'm not a buzzkill. This is rewatch the movie now that you understand COVID-19 narrative. So you have Dan Aykroyd's character and Bill Murray's character, and they just got fired from their university because they're not doing real science. They're not. As you saw from the first scene, he's literally trying to fuck his students and electrocute like random people for his sadistic pleasure. Fact, you just saw that in that first scene. So now he's drinking straight liquor, and the child character, which is Dan Aykroyd's character, the childlike innocence, they're talking about how they should go into the private sector because there's less oversight at actually doing anything. Long story.
Oh, sorry, folks. I got muted there for a second. Anyways, I was saying, Owen's going on about real science here when he doesn't think the moon is real. He doesn't think gravity is real. He doesn't think viruses are real. And he's lecturing about real science. The pseudoscience in the fucking Ghostbusters movies are far more accurate than the sort of horse shit Owen goes on about.
Short, they get into this. This is the birth of the CDC. So, what?
I'm pretty sure the CDC existed in the 80s, by the way. I'm pretty sure it was a while before that. I know he's sort of saying, like, kind of correcting myself there. He is sort of saying, like, this is just like what the CDC does. But, I mean, not really. Again, Ghostbusters has this huge anti-government narrative running through both fucking movies.
you'll see over and over again is allusions to cum. Oh, how dare you? Slimer is just a no. When you're dealing with a movie where Dan Aykroyd's character gets a graphic blowjob from a succubus ghost, it's no longer metaphor, guys. And I'll
Okay, but why does that mean every other ghost wants to suck your dick? And again, that was sort of a dream, I believe. Like they show then like Dan's in bed while that like, and none of it's. My interpretation was Dan Aykroyd's character was having a dream about a ghost. It could have been a real ghost. I mean, sure, whatever, fine. That said, though, even if it was a real ghost who was like, I'll suck your dick if you let me go or whatever. Fuck, it doesn't mean that every ghost wants to suck your dick. Why would it mean that? Other than the fact that Owen Benjamin really wants to suck a dick.
We'll hammer this home. Libertarians love this way. It's retarded. So Slimer keeps sliming Bill Murray's character. As you can see here, if it was just this scene, I wouldn't be talking about this. I would just pass that off as coincidence. Oh, Slimer doesn't mean cum. It's just randomly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Slimer did only slime Peter Venkman in that one scene. Unless you're like going off the cartoon, where they keep Slimer around as a pet and a mascot.
No, it's about squirting. This is Squirt Boys. I blocked so much of this movie. Yeah, this movie's crazy, guys. Slime has to do with cum. Even the poster is
but why?
jizz. It's the top of that head is the tail of cum of sperm.
I'm surprised he thinks sperm cells are real. No, Owen, it's not. And the fact that that's where your mind goes, I think says a little bit more about you.
And then you have grabblers with their magic wands that they can't cross streams. That's a picture of a sperm. Okay.
No, it's
Here's
not.
Bill Murray covered in sperm. Okay.
No, that's not what that is.
This is the bad guy who comes to shut them down. Yeah, Nutbusters. Exactly. And by the way, the movie is so sexual. Like when Sigourney Weaver's character is what's it called when you're occupied by a spirit? When she's possessed, she's like, "I want you inside of me." It's crazy aggressive.
Yes, that part is very sexual, Owen. I don't know if you understood this, and I suppose you don't. Movies can have sexual aspects in them without every single thing being about sex. Like, let's use a Marvel movie as an example, because they're popular right now. So, Star-Lord wants to fuck the green chick, Gamora, right? Okay, we know that. We understand that. Now, if I was Owen Benjamin, I would then conclude that Star-Lord also wants to fuck the raccoon. Because he wanted to fuck Gamora. So clearly this whole movie is about Star-Lord wanting to fuck things. So he just wants to fuck everything. That's the fucking logic of Owen Benjamin here.
There's a scene where Dan Aykroyd's character, his pants get unbuttoned and pulled down, and he goes, as he's getting blown by a ghost. You're just a bed cue. You don't see the...
Okay, again. All right, that one ghost, in what may even have been a dream sequence, wanted to suck Dan Aykroyd's dick. That means that every ghost wants to suck Dan Aykroyd's dick? Well, let's go back to comparing it to Guardians of the Galaxy. Star-Lord wants to fuck Gamora. That means that Nebula also wants to fuck Gamora. Thanos wants to fuck Gamora. Rocket Raccoon wants to. Everybody wants to fuck Gamora. If one person wanted to fuck Gamora, the whole movie is about fucking Gamora.
This child's movie, it's so fucking perverted. Okay.
Ghostbusters isn't a child's movie either. It could easily be enjoyed by a kid, and I don't think there's anything. I think the adult stuff goes over most kids' heads, so I think it's fine to show to kids. But it's very much it's a movie I watched as a very, very little kid, but the older I got, the more I grew to appreciate it, actually.
Okay, so the EPA guy is come to shut them down, and he's portrayed as the bad guy. Okay, as we just saw in the trailer, if they cross streams, there's an explosion that ends all life. So, wouldn't you think that...
No. There's not an explosion that ends all life. There's an explosion that will kill the people that cross the streams. He talks about all the molecules in your body exploding. It doesn't end the universe.
Maybe they should be like, that's crazy. But yet he's the bad guy. And then the way that they get around the quote unquote bad man is they appeal to the corrupt politician with votes. Can't make this shit up.
Owen is rooting for the government bureaucrat. Just throwing that out there.
So that's the CDC. And just as you remember, just never cross stream. We are seeing 4 men holding their phalluses, spraying, and they're like, just don't cross streams. And they're trying to get their Slimers in their little box.
Oh, man. Everything is about dicks with this guy. Every one of these cringe, closet homosexual, trad idiots, it's always about dicks with them. Like a fireman with a fire hose? Is that about homosexuality?
Okay.
And this is something a couple years ago. Remember when I know it's like old news now, but remember 2013, 2014 when the feminists were like at their fucking peak of cultural fucking influence? And, you remember Anita Sarkeesian going on about everything's fucking sexist, and she's purposely, or maybe purposely, maybe she's just that fucking far gone, misrepresenting like everything and everything she fucking analyzes. This is just that, again. On Rush's stupid fucking gaming site that lasted like 3 months, I wrote an article in there about how Pong is actually a rape simulator. Like, Pong is actually sexist. The dot represents a woman, and the paddle, because it's a phallic symbol, that represents the patriarchy. And, the woman tries to get away, but the phallic symbol blocks her path and deflects her, most likely sexually assaulting her in the process, and just passes her on to the other dude to be raped again. Now, that's obviously stupid and laughable. But that's only slightly worse than what Anita Benjamin over here is doing.
And then the temple, which is in this case the metaphysical, which we've seen over and over and over again, is a pyramid with a shiny light at the top and the 2 pillars of Freemasonry. Okay.
Yes, the evil fucking elder god, their pyramid to enter the mortal realm is full of a bunch of occultic symbolry. Fucking watching Owen's making me dumber. Symbology. It's full of symbology. Yes, it's full of occultic symbols. Okay. Because remember when we watched on here a while ago the idiots that were going on about how He-Man is the devil, and every Saturday morning cartoon is the devil, And like they kept pointing to like stuff bad guys were doing as if that was the moral lesson of the show. And I'm like, these people don't understand how a narrative works. They don't understand like the bad guy is supposed to be doing bad stuff.
That temple becomes manifested in reality because of these 4 perverts. And they're not perverts. They're constantly chasing slime and trying to fuck everybody they interact with.
No, Bill Murray is trying to fuck around. The slime does not come, Owen. I'm sorry to tell you that. I know you want it to be because you have cum on the brain. But no, it's not cum. And again, Ernie Hudson's character is a capable everyman who becomes an integral part of the team. And indeed, it was in the original. Now, this isn't part of the actual movie, so okay, he obviously isn't going to know this. I'm a big nerd, and I know this. In the original script, Ernie Hudson's character was ex-military. And other, like the cartoon back in the 80s, they had him as being ex-Air Force. The recent IDW comic had him being ex-Marines. But that was a part of the original script. It was something that just got... I believe there was an actual line or something in like deleted footage that just got cut. Because, you know, movies tend to go to the cutting room being like 3 hours fucking long. And it get chopped down. But honestly, when you rewatch that and you have that aspect in mind, it's very clear, like, yeah, that guy's ex-military. Like, just the line when they hire him, like, lady, if there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe whatever the hell you tell me. That sounds like something an ex-gunnery sergeant would tell you. Ernie Hudson's character is it's damn near the moral center of that fucking team. And that's actually a testament, by the way, to how good of a movie this is. Ernie Hudson's character could have easily just been the token black guy. He could have easily just been the guy who doesn't understand stuff that you bounce exposition off of. Although Peter Venkman can actually play that role too, because his character never paid attention in school and doesn't know shit. But Ernie Hudson's character could have easily just been the token black guy. And he's actually not. He's one of the more... he's a great character. But no, it's 4 perverts that want to fuck each other in the butts. Owen is a homosexual. Can we just admit that? Owen is a closet. Owen is a straight-up closet case. Let's be real.
Trying to fuck their secretary, their clients. Everybody is trying to fuck.
Nobody in that movie was trying to fuck the secretary. In fact, I know it was a lot in the second one. But, yeah, it was in the first one, too. If anything, the secretary was trying to fuck Egon. She was thirsting for some Egon Spangler dick, something fierce. And he was so autistic and caught up in his work, he didn't even notice he was being hit on. But yeah, they weren't all trying to fuck the secretary.
Fuck everybody. Don't cross streams. Right. Okay, so as you can see here now, the Temple of Dozer, it's, dude. And then, you want me to really hammer home that it's all about sperm? Who's the bad guy in the end? It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And what happens after they finally... They have to do the one thing that they're not supposed to do, which is cross streams, have a homosexual act. And when they do, they're covered in sperm. Okay, let's just go...
Every fucking white thing is sperm to you, Owen. It's... The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was not made of cum. He was made of marshmallow. Marshmallow is also white. There are other substances on this planet that are white that are not cum, Owen. Not everyone sees something that is white and thinks of cum. That's not how a lot of people's brains operate, Owen. this man get through a day?
Go through the movie again. Oh, how dare you? It's a child's movie. No, it isn't.
No, it isn't. I'll agree with you on that, Owen. It's just a movie. I think it's fine for kids to watch, but it's... No, I mean, part of it, I grew up watching a lot of fucking R-rated movies. You know, I was born in the 80s. I grew up in... You know, I was a kid in the late 80s, early 90s. There's a lot of fucking R-rated movies I saw that maybe I shouldn't have seen, but whatever. Who cares? You know. You're being raised right. It ain't gonna... People over... Like, if you just sit a kid in front of hours and hours of television, yeah, it's gonna fucking warp his brain. But just once in a while watching an R-rated movie ain't gonna fuck him up, alright? Like, I saw fucking Rambo when I was little. I saw, like, Rambo 1 and 2. I saw, like, fucking Terminator 1 and 2 when I was little. I saw fucking, what was that? Total Recall. Shit, man, just a lot of, like, R-rated action movies and shit. The 80s, like Predator. I saw Predator when I was a kid. Great movies.
So it starts off with Bill Murray trying to fuck the girl by lying to her and electrocute the man for sadistic pleasure for no reason. Then they get fired from their jobs because he's drinking straight liquor and he's a sexual sadist. Then they're introduced to Slimer.
Okay, nowhere did we establish he was a sexual sadist. Yeah, he likes to fuck chicks. Nowhere did we see Peter Venkman's fucking sex dungeon, though. By the way, that picture of Slimer he's using is from the fucking 2016 Ghostbusters movie. Just so we're clear. He's not even using accurate fucking sources. Because Slimer wasn't doing that with his tongue in the fucking original movie. Slimer had nothing to do with cum or lust. Slimer was a spirit of gluttony. You want to tie him to one of the 7 deadly sins, he was a spirit of gluttony. And by the way, for esoteric Ghostbusters lore here, because I'm that much of a fucking nerd, because I actually always wondered, like, what the fuck was Slimer when he was alive? If he was a ghost, what the fuck is he a ghost of? But actually, in Ghostbusters lore, and this isn't really fleshed out in the movie, but, you know, in the cartoon and other kind of lore, that kind of shit, there are actually spirits, I guess is a better term for them, that aren't necessarily the ghost of something that were alive. They're sort of a manifestation of psychic energy and spiritual energy. Sort of congeals into a semi-sentient form. And Slimer is just such a fucking entity, and he is just a spirit of gluttony.
That covers Bill Murray with squirt. Yes. The poster of...
No, I thought it was cum. Why is it squirt now? He can't decide if Slimer's a girl or a guy. I don't know. Maybe he calls cum squirt. But no, when I think of squirt, I think of a chick squirting.
Movie is a sperm with an open mouth.
No, it's not.
The EPA is shown as the buzzkill bad guy because they want them to stop convincing the entire world that I'm going to show you another scene of the movie.
Owen Benjamin, now a champion of the EPA.
Movie. I'm just going to keep going, though, right now. As they're sexually defiling, the one thing they say is don't cross streams, which is don't have a homosexual act, right? Then, of course, they're introduced to the temple. Then Stay Puft comes out as their mortal enemy, and they do the one thing they have to do to stop it, which is have a homosexual act, and then they're covered in white goo. That's
It is not a homosexual act. People in the chat, by the way, are asking to post a link to the original video, which I suppose is fair. I am riffing on it. If you want to watch the original without my commentary, that's fine. I mean, hang on a second.
Then Stay Puft comes out as...
There we go. I actually have to go into YouTube because Streamlabs, for some reason, doesn't want me to post links, like copy and paste into the chat. So there you go. In the chat, we have the original video. Feel free to... now, this isn't Owen, by the way. This is some fan of Owen that's running a clip channel. But feel free to give it lots of positive feedback. Somebody in the chat says Squirt was once a tasty soda pop in better times. It wasn't tasty. Let's be real. Squirt was disgusting.
Movie. Okay, now Kung Fu Bear sent me a good montage. And no, I won't pretend that the whole movie is about it's justifying the CDC.
No,
and I'll
it's
show
not.
you this thing really quick, and it's about coming. It's about squirting. The whole thing's about squirting. Where is?
It is not about coming. It is not about the CDC.
There's montage. Here it is. Hang on 1 second. You'll see, guys. And I hear Dan Aykroyd's a cool dude, by the way.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd also believes a whole lot of batshit crazy stuff. But even he knows the moon is real, the viruses are real, that the Earth isn't fucking flat. All right. I'm a little burned out on Owen tonight. It's the guy is so infuriatingly retarded. We're going on for about over an hour here. I don't know. Any other cringe we could watch? The film where the EPA is the bad guys is justifying the CDC. That's right, Strat. Somebody says, I saw a Rini on elves and gnomes. We need that for next stream. I can fire that up here in a minute if you want. That's, he was saying gnomes are Jews or something. I don't know. Let's see. Checking up on the chat here. Bill Murray likes to play horn dogs. See stripes. That's true. Venkman is a sexual sadist because that's all Owen thinks about. Yeah. Looking into The Last of Us 2 leaks. I don't really give a shit about The Last of Us though. I never gave a shit about the first game. And then the second one like about lesbians or some shit now. Like a poltergeist. I guess you're talking about like Slimer being a sort of congealed psychic energy. Yes, many poltergeists are, according to lore and myth and all. Some poltergeists are the deceased of people that were alive, but many are just spirits that, symbolism, yes. I know, I couldn't think of the name. I was being a retard. To Owen, Guardians of the Galaxy is about sodomy and Gomorrah. Let's see. You wonder what the last name Benjamin should be put on the FBI, CIA, whatever watch list. You know what? This is the other thing that amazes me. You go on here and it's 10 downvotes, counting myself. But it's just all these people going on about like, I'm pretty sure Ron Jeremy, a dirty movie actor, is an extra in that movie. Coming to save the world. The ghost that won't stay dead is the devil inside all of us. Wow. Love it, Big Bear. Keep them coming. Three thumbs. How dare you so far. People actually root this idiot on. Davis Benjamin. He clinks a glass of turpentine and uses his Zippo to light dinosaur books on fire. There you go. That's the new amalgam comic, Davis Benjamin. All right. I don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I don't want to go through the whole thing. People take that man seriously. Like, if you do, fucking shame on you. Boogie died again. Well, that's, press F in the chat. Slimer is what Boogie used to be. Slimer is the ghost of Boogie. And by the way, interesting, as I note, Slimer is never called Slimer in the movies. That ghost has no name. The Sedgwick Hotel ghost, I believe, is how it's credited or something like that. Or what it was called originally. It was called Slimer in the cartoon, which just sort of stuck. But it's never actually called Slimer in the fucking movie. Alright. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Yeah, that's about it for tonight, folks. Thank you all for listening. Beckloff out.